here. It's Friday. It's time for our weekly voiceover Q&A. Welcome. So glad to have you here, guys. Hope you're having a great week, and I hope today is a great wrap up, a nice big pretty bow on a week of voiceover. I'm Bill DeWeese, professional voiceover talent, voiceover coach, and every weekday morning, in case you're new to this is what we do at this time. I say morning my time, but we have a global audience. So wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, I invite you to stop for just a few minutes to join us to let's talk VO, and I share a tip, trick, strategy, something to help you make more money in voiceover. Well, here in the Chicagoland area, we're going to reach nearly 60 degrees, 59s in the forecast. It was windy as all get out last night, which I don't care what the temperature is. When it gets windy, it's no fun. But today, sunshine, no wind, which is nice here in the Chicago area. We enjoy it when there's no wind. It's a nice change of pace, and it's going to be pretty mild. So good stuff. Has it been a good week voiceover wise? I hope so. Hope you guys have been keeping busy. I've been seeing the pace since the holidays just kind of slowly pick up, which is nice. So looking forward to, continue to move in that direction and doing the things necessary in terms of marketing and auditioning and all those kind of things to make sure that that is exactly what happens. Well, let's see here. I want you to, if you don't mind, take just a moment to check in on the live chat. Want to know where you're at, where you're watching or listening from this morning. Congrats to Rob Ryder, who was first on this morning. It's is he just said it's his three-peat. He was first 3 times in a row. So you guys, somebody's got to pick up the slack here. Somebody needs to challenge Rob at being being first in. Oh, Rob, love and appreciate you. And guys, just thanks for being here. I don't care whether you're first or last. I'm just glad you're here. So the way this works is this: if you have a question, anything regarding voiceover, throw it up here in the live stream chat. I'll take as many as I can here over the next few minutes. As many of you know, I am a full-time working voiceover talent myself. So I've got to get. I'm in the studio and I've got a number of projects already lined up for today. So I've got to get to work on those. But I will get to as many questions as I can in the meantime. And while you're putting your questions in the chat, let me just mention to you that let me double check. Make sure that this is still available. We always do these just for a limited period of time. So, yep, looks like through today, this is still available. And that is my DIY demo training course. So if you want to learn, maybe you're just getting started, you don't have the budget, you don't have several $1,000s for a pro demo right off the bat. And by the way, to grow a voiceover career, you need to play at some point. You'll need to do that. But today in 2024, with all the new platforms that are developing and all of the entry level work that's now available that wasn't available several years ago, you can learn how to create your own DIY demos. You can start getting jobs, making some money, and then begin to fund your business, i.e., things like demos, website, whatever, from the money that you generate from that. Also, for those of you guys who've been around for a while and you're looking to expand your reach, but you don't want to put out $3,000 every time you make a demo. You can begin to make niche demos to expand your footprint within each of the clients that you work with, and creating niche demos in whatever area of interest, or it doesn't even have to be an area of interest. It might be a client comes to you and says, "Hey, do you do let's say medical narration?" Well, even if you've never done medical narration, you can say, "Let me get you my medical narration demo." You go online, start doing some research, transcribe a few scripts out there, put together your own DIY medical narration demo, send it out to your client, and voila, again, you've just expanded your footprint and your earning capability within that client. That's what this course teaches you. So if you go below in the description, click the link, get all the details, other links to my other training resources. So let's see what we've got. As I mentioned, Rob was first on this morning. Congrats, Rob. We've got Bill in cold Boise, Idaho. Rusty is in, speaking of cold, the UP of Michigan. Rusty, welcome. Emma in Huntington Beach. Terry in Fallston, Maryland, feeling like spring today in this neck of the woods. Have a super weekend. You too, Terry. Hey, Mike, good morning from Matawan, New Jersey. He just got his first job on Upwork. Yay! Mike, way to go. Did you attend the Upwork course the other day with Kayla? I'm just curious. I have a meeting with her soon to get my Upwork profile set up and start rocking and rolling in that direction as well. Let's see here. Mark in Wilmington, North Carolina. Melissa in San Diego. Michelle in Philadelphia. We've got GS in Southwest Washington. John in Rhinebeck, New York. Let's back it up. YouTube is scrolling the stream ahead. They're telling me to get a move on, apparently. Wow, there's a lot of comments here. Let's see here. Here we go. Okay. Bill has a question. He says, how do you get over, I don't like the sound of my voice? I record that when cleaning it up with each listen, I like it less and less. Bill, a couple things. Number one, you may never like your voice. You know, I'm not in love with my voice. I think my voice is fine. Uh, but I used not to feel that way. It took a while for me to get to that place. Most people don't like the sound of their voice. People who are in love with the sound of their voice often have what we often refer to as American Idol syndrome, where they think they're way better than they actually are, or they sound way better than they actually are. And what's the second point is this, it's not important that you like your voice. It's not even important that your client likes your voice, because ultimately they're not hiring you for your voice. They're hiring you for your ability to connect with somebody. You gotta keep that in mind. Getting a job is not about being the best sounding voice. It's about being the best communicator. It's about using your personality, your point of view, your frame of reference to communicate in a compelling way. And if you can do that really, really well, people will care very, very little what you sound like, because people pay attention to you. That's what's important. Robert in Indianapolis. Bradford, what's up in Simpsonville, South Carolina? Greg in Asheville, North Carolina. Amisha in South Carolina. Casey, hello there. Hey, JW in Indianapolis, welcome. Marla in Texas. Mark in Estes Park, Colorado. We've got Dave in the Big Apple. Casey, good morning to you in Columbia, South Carolina. I see Wade in Philadelphia. Dave just says sound question mark. I'm assuming you guys can hear me, or I'd be getting more comments about not being able to hear me. If not, you can't hear me, so it doesn't matter what I say. Mike and happy Mardi Gras from Mobile, Alabama. Is it that time of year? Marlene, good morning from California, learning to use noise reduction with this crazy weather. Yes. Germany's in the house. Hello there. And David, hello to you. So glad to be able to jump on from Louisville. First time since you moved to Central Time Zone. Pesky day job. Okay. Theo says, happy weekend eve to Bill and all from downtown Chicago. It was windy near you, Bill, but we had a loud, heavy thunderstorm last night. So weird to have that in February. Yeah, it's interesting. It started raining last night before I went to bed. Now, I sleep with the earbuds in and the sound of rain in my ears all night, so I don't hear anything. I'm an extremely light sleeper. Extremely. The slightest thing, and I'm up, straight up out of bed. So yeah, I miss all that stuff, thankfully. But yeah, it is kind of weird this early on in the season for sure. Let's see here. Adela in California, Steve in Linden, California. We are famous for our cherries. All right. Dale in Atlanta. Alexander in Conway, Arkansas. We've got Ted in the UK. Hey, Ted. Tim in Altoona. Cheering for the Niners. CMC for MVP. I've said this before. I really don't have a dog in this fight, as they say. It doesn't matter to me who wins. Would love to see either the Bears and or the Bengals in the Super Bowl next year, though. Anthony says, good morning. Warmer in Chicago than in Phoenix. 57 for the high here today. Wow. Hey, Amanda from sunny Westchester, Pennsylvania. Brian, sometimes my work takes me away from home, recording booth for 36 or more hours. When auditioning, what's the best way to reveal that to a prospective client? Well, if you're auditioning through like a pay-to-play site or any kind of platform where you have the option to communicate, like whether it's a proposal or whatever, you can communicate a message within your audition or to send with your audition, just mention that. That's the thing. Because sometimes people are looking for somebody right away. Oftentimes, it's not for days, weeks, months. I mean, literally, sometimes years. It's crazy. You wouldn't believe the number of times somebody came back to me and said, you probably don't remember this, but back in, this year, yeah, and you're right. I don't remember, but glad to do the job. Aaron is in Columbia, Missouri. Dennis in Pasadena, California. Scotty, Brookings, South Dakota. Last day of Florida vacation. Looking forward to being back in the 3 by 5 padded cell. Isn't it nice when you do something that you actually enjoy getting back from, you enjoy doing when you get back from vacation? What kind of vocal warm-ups do you do before recording? I'm not, I'm not into all that. I mean, it depends. But I don't have like a routine that I do, and I like to make sure I'm warmed up. One way I do that is I drink hot coffee that warms up my throat, and then usually I'll just pull up a script and I'll read it if there's just a little bit. Maybe do some mouth stretching exercises where I open my mouth really wide, move my tongue around really fast, that kind of thing. If they feel like they're not moving. But the easiest thing for me is if I have, like, let's say, um, a project that to work on for that day. I'll just take the easiest one, especially if it's like an e-learning that's not overly complicated, doesn't require vocal gymnastics, and I'll just record that because that's I'm getting paid to warm up. So that's typically how I address that. Wade says, "Good morning and happy Friday from Philadelphia." Steve, do you use the same DAW settings when you do ACX versus commercials? I use the same settings for everything. Yeah, I do for everything. Again, there's not a rule that you have to do that, but I think my settings are good. They're solid, and they actually they work for everything, literally. Let's see, where was I at? Max in Las Vegas. Hello there. Who is it that makes the decisions on hiring voice talent for concert commercials? I'm having a heck of a time figuring that one out. I mean, there are a number of places. Often, if you just search, there are production companies. Look for commercial production companies. Just Google them, and I actually stumbled across one that way, and I don't do concert commercials for them. It's not they like the really big, powerful voices for that, but they do some imaging. But anyhow, yeah, just do some Google searching for like concert promotion production, and there's a couple of them out there. Hello, JL in Portland, Oregon. Mike. Yes, okay, Mike, who just got his first, job on Upwork, did attend the, training with Kayla. Fantastic, Mike. Hey, Jason, TGIF to you. Jason in St. Louis, what's the most important thing to look for in a VO coach? Make sure they're making money. And I mean, that's not a joke. I was having this conversation with somebody the other day. A lot of voiceover coaches will say, I think you should ask if you want to hire a voiceover if somebody wants to hire me as a voiceover coach, first thing they should say is, "How much money do you make?" I mean, if their objective is to do this as a job, to make money and, do it for a living, and, so a lot of coaches, "Wow, that's something I would never share." Well, then don't sell your services, because if you're selling a service, like, for instance, and if you ask me how much I make voiceover coaching, I'd say that's none of your business because I don't sell. You're not hiring me to teach you how to be a voiceover coach. If you were, then it would be your business. But if you're hiring a voiceover coach to learn how to make money and your ultimate goal is to make a living doing this, you got to ask them how much they make. Because if they're not making any money, why in the world would you use their services if they don't know how to do it? Because believe me, there's a lot of folks, who don't know what the heck they're doing in any way, shape, or form. And secondly, there are people who used to do it and maybe even used to do it at a high level, but they are so out of touch with the current market, they can't make money doing it anymore, at least not enough money to support themselves. So then they become a coach. And I'm not saying they don't have something to offer from a performance standpoint, but as we all know, if you've been around this for any length of time, having great performance skills is not enough to work in voiceover. It's not enough. It's part of the equation, but it's only part of the equation. Um, Thumbs up for Professor Bill. Hey, thank you. Appreciate the encouragement there. Always appreciate your thumbs up, subscriptions, and shares here. Let's see. We've got San Antonio, Texas in the house. Sandra in Worthington. What is UCG? I don't know. How are YouTube videos different from other work? Well, voiceover work is voiceover work. I mean, it can be a YouTube video could be most of the work I do ends up on YouTube, whether it's commercials, corporate work, a lot of that stuff, tons of that stuff. So it's not, I mean, it's just voiceover work. Um, it's not a category. It's a place where they end up. There might be 100,000 different categories underneath that. What is UCG? That I don't have a clue. Wally, hello to you in Maryland. Thank you, Bill. You're very welcome. How would you handle a client that wants your voice for AO? I assume you mean AI. Maybe that's a typo. And won't agree to a contract. The initial pay is great, but I'm thinking long range for my voice usage. Yeah, you know what? I recently turned down an opportunity like that as well. It paid pretty good on the front end, but if there's not a contract that outlines very specific usage of it, the problem is if they start using it for everything, now you're in like every market doing maybe you're in commercials, you're doing this, you're doing that. And now you've got competing companies in those markets. They don't want to hire you to use your voice because you're already in that market. So I think it's one of the things you have to be really careful about when it comes to AI. Hey, Steven in Salt Lake, Utah. Hey, Meryl, better late than never. Welcome. You have an awesome weekend as well. Good morning, Darren. Happy Friday. Hey, Phil in Tokyo. Okay, guys. I'm gonna answer one more question, then just try to make sure that I give a shout out to everybody here because I've got to get to my stack of voiceover jobs here this morning. I do 10 different voices and 4 different accents. Would you recommend putting together a demo with a compilation of all of them? How do I best showcase my range? Well, we're talking about here is a demo, and it depends. It depends on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to create a character, like an animation demo? Are you trying to, you wanna get jobs, because you sound like you're from another country? By the way, I wouldn't do that because nowadays it's too easy. If I want somebody with a German accent, I'll hire somebody that's German. If I want somebody that sounds Russian, I'll hire somebody from Russia. Unless it's an audiobook narrator who has to do all that kind of stuff to some degree. So I don't think that's the best use of your marketing, firepower to do that because you can hire the real thing. So I don't even worry about that kind of stuff. In terms of, the different voices, you wanna work with a let me back up. If you're doing a DIY demo, yeah, let's say it's an animation or character voice demo, yeah, put all your best voices on there. Absolutely. If you work with a producer at some point, they will help you, package that. But outside of that, I wouldn't worry about marketing myself as somebody who can do a certain accent. Not that you'll never get something for that, but what you'll find is it's just too easy for people to hire somebody who natively speak that way. Hey, Rebecca. Good morning to you. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. I got a lot of names to roll through here, which is awesome. It's a nice problem to have. Stephen, Darren, Mark, Joe. Oh, Theo says UCG means user generated content, the kind of thing that influencers do in reviewing products and such. Oh, I guess as a YouTuber, maybe I should know that. I don't know. Thank you, Theo. Let's see here. Yeah, everybody's saying everybody knew the answer to that than me, which just proves you don't have to know everything to be successful in voiceover. I mean, it's the truth. You think you need to know everything. You need to understand every acronym. You need to understand everything that could possibly come up. Trust me when I say you don't. I just learned something new today. User generated content. Marla, you have a great weekend as well. Chris, thank you. Hey, Terry. All right, guys, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Don't forget, if you want to get a hold of that training on creating your own DIY demos, expand your footprint, make more money in voiceover, the link is below in the description. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.